Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This store is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Get signed up for their email distribution list to find out when the store will be opening, what their hours will be, and most importantly, what they will have in inventory at abvbarrelshop.com. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily. The podcast is about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. And today on the show, we discuss if the good times can keep rolling for bourbon. My name is Justine Mays. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Ryan Thompson and Jim Fosnot.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing tonight?
Good. So, yes, we're going to have a good show. We're going to be talking about the good times in bourbon. And can this thing keep going? Can it just keep? It just seems to. We think that it can't go any higher. Then all of a sudden, bourbon creates a new level, and then we ascend to that new level. And can this thing keep going, or is it going to start going the other way? We'll get to that after the break. For right now, I got a situation I want you guys to weigh in on and see what you think. So, I was out of town. I was in Maine for a trip. Our good buddy Lenny from Deerhammer's got an amazing place right on Old Orchard Beach in Maine. Incredible place. Literally, he surfs in that, so it's perfect for him. He just looks out the window or the waves, right, and goes out and surfs. So it's like a dream come true, and it's just a neat place. But when I get home, I see that I have a bin where I store the Tommy Bahamas that need some work. And that ends up being kind of like a graveyard. It's like they never get out of there. It's like, I'll fix that. And, so the warden says she'll fix it and that. And things happen. Sometimes you get a shirt stuck and a button pops off or there's a small rip that needs to be repaired. And I had 3 of them in there. And I came home and I saw all 3 of those repaired. And I'm smart enough to know that it's not just, hey, you were out of town, I didn't have a lot going on, I fixed those shirts. I said, what's going on? And she's like, what? I said, well, I see the 3 shirts I've been wanting to get or been repaired. What happened? And she's like, well, we had a situation in the laundry where there was a new shirt that apparently bled and ruined 2 of your other Tommy Bahama shirts. So I fixed the 3 that you had there. So net, you're actually up 1 on that. Anyway, was I just spot on? How good was that to pick out that wasn't just someone being nice? I knew that there was something I knew something was up there, right?
Your intuition is impressive, my friend.
Oh yes, yeah, I knew. You've
been married for 30-something years, right?
Well, yeah, 30 this year. Yes,
coming up. So, so I would hope you'd have some pretty good intuition of what's going on there. But yeah, that was dead on accurate.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way this is just randomly, done here. So yeah.
So the big question is,
what's that?
Did it smooth things over? At that point, you're like, oh, well, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
It's I have like 100 Tommy Bahama shirts. So, losing a couple. Don't tell her. I hope she doesn't listen to this. Then she'll be like, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter anymore." Yeah. So yeah, it was like, whatever. I think
the big question is the 3 that were fixed. Are they going to get as much wear time as the 2 that were ruined, or maybe more, or maybe less? Where does that play in?
Well, the one that got ruined, I really liked. So that's a tough one to lose. You have like your favorites, but the 3 that were under repair. Because you could just throw them away and be like, why bother? But there were 3 that I really liked. So I'm glad to get those 3 back in the rotation. So it's 1 long sleeve, 2 short sleeve. And one's my dress up one. So I wear it to only like if you're like, we got to dress up for this event. I have a dress up Tommy Bahama. It's just, it looks like a dress up shirt. I have no idea why. It's just a short sleeve shirt, but it has a very snazzy look to it. So when I'm really wanting to kill it, I wear that shirt.
That's his Merriam and Barium Tommy Bahama. Everybody wears it to the weddings.
Yeah, exactly. I have worn that shirt to weddings. It would definitely be my wedding shirt that I would wear. I would wear that Tommy Bahama. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Heck no, man. I mean, yeah.
I like it.
I told you, Steve, my niece did a Tommy Bahama themed wedding. You would have loved it. Like everybody was with Tommy Bahama on Sanibel Island,
which is my favorite place to go.
I know.
That's my favorite place
on the beach, and everybody was dressed in Tommy Bahama themed stuff.
Yeah.
You totally could have crashed that wedding and nobody would have known.
Right? No one would have been like, check his ID or anything. They'd been like, oh, okay, yeah, come on in. Yeah.
He's got the right attire on. Let's go.
Yeah. I've got all kinds of Tommy Bahama stuff. So they were, because I had like one of those swim shirts, at the beach with Lenny's place, and they were like, "What? That's not a Tommy Bahama." And I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's absolutely. look at the zipper. It says right on there, Tommy Bahama." Yeah.
I like the fact that they tried to call you out.
Tommy Bahama.
What's that, Justine?
Do you have a Christmas themed Tommy Bahama?
Oh yeah. I'm wearing a Christmas themed one today. Yeah, I don't know if you can see.
Oh.
There's some ornaments and
Christmas
stuff there.
in July.
Yeah, that's Christmas. There's the ornaments. Yeah.
So when did you get into Tommy Bahama? Was this post corporate world, or were you into it before then?
No, I've been into Tommy Bahama forever. I mean, but not where it exclusively wore that. So I had,
because you couldn't with your corporate job.
Right. It started out where I just had one. And then, I didn't wear them. I never wore any of my Tommy Bahamas to the corporate job because you couldn't really wear that. But, I had them for weekends and stuff like that. And then once I left the corporate job, then I went to, then I was like, I still had all my other stuff. Because I had coming off the corporate, I was wearing that stuff and then adding more Tommy Bahamas. Then I realized I just like all Tommy Bahamas. So I got rid of everything else. So yeah, just all Tommy. Yeah, but they won't sponsor me. Do you? I know people have written into them, and they've copied me in on emails that they've sent to them, and they get the form letter back. We'll forward that to our marketing team, and we'll, if we're interested, we'll get back to them.
Especially their whiskey. Like you should be definitely the spokesperson.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you wear them well. You know what you're talking about. You do good for the brand. Yeah.
I promote them all the time, but yeah, I'll continue to do so. Even though it's like if you have a love that doesn't love you back, that's what's going on with me. I love Tommy Bahama. It doesn't necessarily love me back, but it's it is what it is.
Larceny for all those times, they would never follow her.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Same kind of thing for sure. All right, well, gang, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Ryan. Ryan, what do you got there, man?
I'm grabbing a little Michter Sour Mash.
Oh, nice.
One of these guys here. Yeah. And it's quiet as a mouse.
Not much there. No.
Not a
quiet
thing.
As a mouse.
All right, Jim, what do you got?
I didn't change up, Steve. I'm going with a well-loved bottle of Baker 7.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens here. Right, not much. But it's got to be better than Ryan's.
Yep, enough to beat Ryan. Those are great corks. So yeah, I do love that cork. So all right, Justine, you're next. Jim's got the lead. What do you got?
I have some Buzzard's Roost single barrel straight rye whiskey.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa.
Hey.
I'd say Justine's got the lead. It almost sounded like it was barking. It was so good. So Justine's got the lead. It was.
I think there's a background singer there.
Yeah. I've got Stumpy's Old Monroe here. Barrel 105. This is an interesting bottle because it's the last single barrel that was part of just the regular releases. Stumpy still does single barrels, but that's if you buy the whole barrel, not just released to the store. Now they does small batches to the store. So here we go. Cork pop. No, not enough. Not enough. It was a decent showing, but not enough. Justine wins this thing. So there you go.
All right, fair enough.
Cheers, Justine.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Congratulations.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, let's have a nice discussion and talk about canned bourbon. Keep doing what it's doing, getting bigger every year. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot in the greater St. Louis area. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only focuses on single barrels. We aren't open just yet, but our plan is to have the most diverse single barrel offerings from our many friends in the world of bourbon. By signing up for a weekly email, you will know our entire inventory we have on hand. In addition to single barrels, we'll have a tasting bar and a gift shop featuring logo merchandise for both the shop and the ABV network, as well as a full curriculum of bourbon education classes. Additionally, we'll use the gift shop to feature products from our partners in the world of bourbon, companies like Art Eatable Chocolates and Old Man Bay Signs. Head over to ABV Barrel Shop to sign up for our email and text distribution list so you can stay in the know. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course, a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Maybe.
Welcome back. Today on the show, we are having a roundtable discussion. Can the good times keep rolling for bourbon?
Yes, we are. What do you guys think? Can this thing just keep going?
I'm optimistic. I think it can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it out there.
And well better, because you and I are opening a shop.
Yes, this is true.
6 days from now, and we better be on the rise of this thing and not on the fall. So
yeah. It feels like, but doing things like we're doing is an indicator that it's still on the rise. I mean, people are getting creative and coming up with new ways to do things with bourbon, and I think that's a cool thing. The more that bourbon is out there. I mean, I made a post. I live in a town. I live in St. Louis, but the actual town I live in is outside of St. Louis City, and it's called Oakville. And there's a group called Oakville Foodies. My kid was like, "This is a pretty active group that she's in." And she's like, you should post something about your store. And so I did it. And a lot of people were asking me about it, asking me questions, and, and they were saying they're going to come by. So I thought that was cool. I thought, again, another example of bringing people new to bourbon, which is a neat idea. And so I like the idea if new people come to the store. So yeah, that's cool. What do you think, Justine? Can we keep going with this bourbon thing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, bourbon is the flavors that you can get are so complex, and there's so many different variables, and just like with aging and mash bills and stuff like that. And I mean, craft distilleries and I think I just think it's gonna keep growing. I mean, let's be honest, there are only so many things you can do with vodka.
Right.
Vodka, like,
yeah, exactly.
I just think that bourbon is just gonna keep going and going.
Justine brings up a great point, because you could line up 100 different bourbons and say, try all these, and they all can taste absolutely 100% different. Each one can be a 180 from the other one. It's not like, and like you said, with vodka, the only way they're changing it is to add these flavorings, which don't even taste real. It's so artificially flavored. It's gross. So
the vodka's weird because, like, technically, the better the vodka, the less flavor it has.
Right.
You're trying to use as neutral as you get, but my thing, like, COVID, I think actually helped bourbon. And I'll say from experience, I was running big box liquor store when COVID started, and going into that, it was not the number one category in the stores, or especially in my store or in the company. And the week of lockdowns, it switched, and American whiskey became the number one category, and it hung on to it for 2 years. I have since left there, so I'm assuming it still is, but I don't know that for sure. But people started staying at home, making cocktails, buying more stuff. And I think now that COVID is, I'll call it over, even though, sorry, Justine, I know you had a bout there, but as a country, we feel like the lockdowns and stuff are finished. Now people are out there experiencing life again, and they're hitting the bourbon trail, and they're doing all this kind of travel and stuff. And I think that the destinations, people did so much research and stuff like that, that's becoming a huge thing again. And it's no different than Napa. I mean, Napa, that hasn't changed. Like going to Napa for the wineries for the last 20 years has been great. And I think that's going to continue to be the same thing for the bourbon trails in different states of people hitting these distilleries and going out for that.
Yeah, Jim, to that point, when we get, say, a group of 3 or 4 people in our tasting rooms, maybe one of the people is like, oh, I'm not a whiskey fan. I don't like bourbon. We're like, all right, well, hold on a second. We'll make them a cocktail, barrel-aged cocktail, some kind of fancy cocktail. And then all of a sudden, by the time they're walking out the door, they're like, I didn't know, but I am a bourbon fan. Sure, absolutely. I just hadn't had it the way that you guys presented it yet. And so maybe they don't like a bourbon neat or a high proof or something or other, but certainly once you get the right cocktail in front of them, they become a bourbon fan. And I think that's resemblant of quite a big category of people out there. So I think as more and more people get educated, it's going to continue to snowball for quite some time. So,
yeah. I was recently out at Ryan's place, and talk about capturing the tourist dollars. It's so cool. He's got a place that's in Vail, Colorado, which Vail is a year-round city. I mean, it's in the winter, it's as busy as can be because all the snow people. In the summer, it's as busy as can be because it's beautiful and people like outdoors, and just a cool place. And he's right in the main point, the focal point of the town, right? You cross this bridge to come in, this covered bridge, and there's Ryan's place right there as soon as you walk in. And it's cool, man. So yeah, I would assume you get a lot of that stuff because they're people that are on vacation and just looking to experience things, not necessarily bourbon fans. So you get a lot of that. And then as you educate more people, they become fans of the distilled spirit. That's the cool thing. So things like you're doing there help out this boom to keep going.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And we get a lot of national, international folks coming to visit. And they're just sometimes maybe poking their head in, I'm not a big whiskey fan, or I just drink vodka. And then, 30 minutes later, unbeknownst to them, they are whiskey fans. And so, it's a fun opportunity that we have to help present and educate folks on whiskey categories in general, bourbons more particularly. And so, it's day in and day out. We get people in like that. So.
Yeah. And of course, I'm as much as anybody will sing the praises of what's going on in Colorado or Texas or Missouri or, Michigan. There's great things going on there. But, ground zero is Kentucky still. And we'll be now and forever, probably the rest of our lives and probably forever in bourbon. And, the things they're doing in Kentucky, continuing to add more festivals and getting creative and look at all the money that's being invested into the distilleries. I mean, that's going to keep the bourbon boom going. I mean, it's
making them into resorts. I mean, they're making it into destination. Like you're spending your a couple days at the distillery, staying at their property, and then going to other distilleries in the vicinity. Like I said, it's becoming Napa, but for whiskey.
It's the Disney model where, we don't want your vacation. We want all of you. We want your meal dollars. We want your accommodation dollars, and we want the dollars you're going to spend on your tours, and we want the dollars that you're going to spend on your bottles that you take home with you. So and you can't just say, well, we're going to do that. You got to make it compelling. But I think Bourbon in Kentucky is doing a great job of making it very compelling as to why you'd want to come to a place and just stay there. I mean, look at what Wally Dant's doing. My gosh, he's got an amphitheater and a bed and breakfast and restaurant and a wedding venue. And man, fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think for all those reasons and all the right reasons that bourbon's going to be still going on the up and up. And if there's a pullback, there might be a little bit of a pullback sooner or later. Maybe who knows when, 5, 8, 10 years from now. But when it does pull back, it's not going to be a very deep pullback, I don't think. So
yeah. Well, I think it's forever. Yeah.
Statistically, also, the 2 biggest growing categories in whiskey are women and millennials, and that's huge for the progress or the growth of whiskey. Women, decide where your vacation is a lot of times. Like where we're going. Like you got to have. Mom and dad have to agree where they want to go somewhere, or the couple has to agree. So if they're getting into it, and then millennials, that's the future. Like we want to have that younger generation that's loving whiskey. It can't be just a bunch of 50-year-old guys coming out to the distillery. You need to have the upcoming people that are going to be the sticky customer forever.
Yeah. Think about where you're at personally. Just, I don't know, even 5 years ago, you think about your vacation dollars 5 or 10 years ago, and think about them now, and how much of your vacation money spent on bourbon travel. I mean, a lot of mine is. I mean, it's most of the travel. It's just changed what we do. I mean, if you're into bourbon, you want to go and you want to travel and experience things, and that's a great way to keep this thing going too. So it's just cool.
And if you're not specifically traveling to go see some distilleries, when I travel in different areas, and I'll seek out a distillery or two that are close by.
You'll tack it on, yeah.
Check them out, yeah, exactly. Yep. Tack it on, right? Yeah.
That's
I just got back from Nashville, and I went down to see family and go to a concert. So this is the first not bourbon related travel that I've done in quite some time, and I still ended up at Corsair and at Nelson's Greenbrier.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I
was like, I'm not going to do anything bourbon related. And I still ended up at both places.
Yep.
Yeah. And to that point, Steve, we talk about how great the bourbon community is, how friendly it is and everything else. And that has become it. Heidi and I discussed that the other day. The vast majority of trips we take are around, honestly, ABV Network friends. We're going to, we do Key West every year. We do New Orleans. We go on these different trips to distilleries and meet up with our friends from the ABV Network. I would say probably 80% or more of my vacation dollars in the last 4 or 5 years has been spent on something bourbon related. Again, we're going to Key West, so there's other things to do there, but we were going there with all of our bourbon friends.
Right.
And we've done several things like that. So it's just, I just think it's a great industry from a friendly, inclusive group. And so it makes it easy to do those kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. There's our take on what's going on in bourbon, and is it here to stay? It sounds like we all agree that it is. And we'll hear from you if you feel differently. Let us know. But hopefully you're on the same page we are, because we do love bourbon and we want it to keep going. That's for sure. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Ryan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Sure. Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey. And our website is 10thwhiskey.com.
All right, Jim.
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Fosnot, on Instagram at FozJim, FAZZJIM, or working with Steve Akeley at the ABV Barrel Shop in Arnold, Missouri on Wednesdays through Saturdays, starting on the 9th.
Perfect. Justine, how about you?
You can find me on Instagram at JA_Maze. You can find our shop at abvnetwork.com and on Instagram at ABV Network Shop.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out, because everything that we do is out there. Maybe you want to go to the shop like Justine was talking about. That's there, of course, but we've got our blogs out there, our newsletters. We do Quick Bourbon Notes on Fridays. Check that out. Most popular newsletter that we do, Quick Bourbon Notes. So check us out. It's all out there at abvnetwork.com. Justine, anything else to say before we get out of here?
Would just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. Also, if you like what we're doing, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. Fridays, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's upcoming Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.